that loud. Oh wow! If we had a day today at the National Religious Broadcasters Convention, we are here live today with True Talk Live, interestingly in Dallas, Texas, of all places. And I am sitting here with one of the big names of the Truth Network from my perspective, Dr. Abdan Shah, who is with Clearview Today, the show that I hope many of you have just fallen in love with. But Dr. Shah, we had a rare treat today at the National Religious Broadcasters Convention. Clearly, we've been sitting here on the convention floor with lots of amazing, godly people. But this morning, we went to the Salem breakfast where, for those familiar with Charles Swindoll, he is now 90. And they honored him and interviewed him and just from your perspective, Dr. Shah, there were so many takeaways from me, but I'm just curious, what grabbed you about that time with Chuck Swindoll? Right. Here's a 90-year-old guy, and understand this guy's got bad. He can barely see. But oh my goodness, it was I was sitting next to Dr. David Wood Carson at the breakfast this morning, and he said we are in the presence of greatness, and God was there too. But it was amazing to see the safety of and how the stories that we told. And one of the neatest things for me was they asked him, what was some of the significant parts of his ministry, the significant parts of his life. And it was clear, and I know you feel this way, Dr. Shaw, I know I do, that being a pastor, right? That he felt like he was a shepherd, and he went to the end of the 78th Psalm, he quoted the entire thing. It was just. Now that was his last. He said, if you were just to have one word from the script out, he said, that it's your family, right? It was absolutely beautiful. But for those of you listening to Truth Net for a long time, you will enjoy this story that he's going to share. So they were somebody asked him if there was some of his, because he has a great sense of humor, and it said, you're right, the laughter that goes throughout it. And they said, well, has any of your humor ever backfired on you? And those of us who like humor have had that happen many times for you, certainly for me. And he talked about, one time that he was at a luncheon or a dinner or something with Stu Epperson, big Stu Epperson, Stu's father, and Ed asked her, what the truth never, but somehow or another he'd gotten Stu's name as Stan, and all through the lunch he kept on saying and Stan, and all his handlers were trying to get him to, like, do you want to pray Stu, to make sure that that. So the whole thing. So at the end, they give him this beautiful Stu Epperson Award for Christian Excellence. Whatever you say, an amazing award. This big, and he said, "Let's change this to Stan." Right? And it's yeah, don't we? And they were talking about God recently, 90 years old. I don't think this is much hope as he is. When you're 90, God will still be putting things on your heart. He put on his heart at 90, he needs to start mentioning his grace. And he talked about, I think it might have been Thursday, that morning he sits with his two grandsons who are in their 30s, and they share what he said. It isn't me lecturing them. No, we share life, and it was deep. And he said, oh, that's cool. And he, yeah, I wrote down several notes, and so I just like for the listeners to have a sense of what it's like to see lives revealed, right? And people that are serving the Lord, like with all they've got, as long as they got it. Yeah, and that's the thing. I've noticed that about great people, but they have grace, and so when you're in their presence, you're their favorite, right there, you feel it. It's an amazing thing. So again, we're here with Dr. Shaw, Clearview today. We're going to hear more about his ministry when we come back, and we got Persecution Project on the clock now. So I'm so glad that you tuned in today on Truth Talk Live. We got some more, much more coming your way. Stay tuned. Yeah, that's our first break. We got another segment together. I hope it's okay. We just talked about that.
Yeah,
I just thought,
no, that's perfect. I just want to talk what you want to talk about.
I just think it's neat for them to experience what we get to experience.
This morning, our team was like,
but I love that your dad had that. I think it's really cool. And as I recall, he's really, really instrumental in your ministry.
Y'all are on break.
Yeah, we have 4 minutes or whatever. They're long breaks. You can sit in there.
Ugh.
If you feel like it, you can put on the other headset. You know, we're okay.
I'll look and pull it for a few minutes. I'll try. I'll try to look and pull it for a few minutes. Robbie, how in the world are you doing this all day? Man, you got to have a breath of the Holy Spirit to make this happen.
That is fun. I've talked to so many amazing people. You know, we all have. He's doing. This one guy sits down, and I saw his name pad. It said Gary Wilkerson. I said, "Dude, you got a famous name." It was Gary Wilkerson. I thought, "What do you got a famous name?" And he was like, he couldn't be a more. If you talk to him, have you ever met him? He couldn't be more humble. I mean, he couldn't be more real. He was as amazing as anybody I talked to the whole time. I said, so, and when I realized that his ministry, it was called World Challenge, right? Because it's come out of Team Challenge, and so now it's World Challenge. And so I said, World Challenge, your last name's Wilkerson. Are you any relation? He goes, yeah, it was my dad. I said, oh, that Gary Wilkerson.
Wow.
I'm trying to think of the name of the pastor of Times Square Church. Oh, he's here right now. What's his name?
Chuck Swindoll.
No, the guy who's on right now that you're hearing through the headphone. What's his name? He's a pastor at Times Square Church. Anyway, he sat down here one day, this guy right here. And I was just talking to him. Well, I used to be a policeman in Canada, and I'm doing this interview. And I said, so tell me about your church. He goes, well, you know, it's right there on Times Square. And he starts, you see, that was Dave Wilkerson Church, was Times Square Church.
Times Square Church.
Anyway, he is the coolest. And you could, from his standpoint, he's still a policeman in Canada. I mean, he's completely just like, but I had no idea I was sitting there. Wow. There you are. Why does his name escape? And he let Aquarius his deal. He is devoted to that whole music. He was in a little town in Canada, and there were more people coming to his church there were in the next 4 surrounding counties. Not to do anything but welcome back to Truth Talk Live. Today, how fun, we are live from the NRB, so no need to call in because we got stuff going on. We're so blessed to have with us Dr. Abadan Shah, who you may know from Clearview Today. The radio program comes on every day nowadays, right? And the time slot is yeah, we are to have you. It's so cool. You're here with us all week in the booth, right down the way, and you're sharing the booth with Dr. David Carson. I've seen him around here somewhere. He might be around here. Oh, there you are.
Here I am.
I guess we better turn on your mic.
Oh, that's true.
But anyway, you were there with Chuck Swindoll this morning, and
This morning was a mountain conference. We heard from one of the great ones. Great because he is a servant of the Lord. So become great. Sure.
Yeah, even so. Getting back to your ministry, Dr. Sean, it's so cool, right? You talked about your father had the tapes, but we all stand on the shoulders of our grandfathers, right? And so I tell us our listeners a little bit more. You may not get to share in your show very often of how his faith affected you. Wow. And now his son, right, is here in North Carolina, of all places. How cool is that? Uh, Last night, the Truth Network, we had a dinner. Dr. Carson was there, and his wonderful wife, Danita, and my wife, Tammy, were there. And Mark, our manager in the Raleigh market, was sharing that literally he came to the Lord as a result of a 10-year journey and what God did for him there. And so he was just, which by the way, he worked for a secular radio station, right? And what a changed life, right? As a result, what
So, how amazing it's so good. Most of the gospel, and then
and he has. He really has in so many different. Maybe 8 or 9 in our booth since those events of that time. As I think about the whole, what you're talking about, it's all these little connections. And at the very beginning of the program this morning, we've been talking about Chuck Swindoll. We showed a story of a man that was a veteran, and he was dying in the hospital. And they found out just the night before he died that he came to faith through listening to a broadcast, right? And you guys both have broadcasts. And for any broadcaster right then to think God would take whatever it is that you said and have to go home and it changed your life. like you did for Mark. It didn't have to be the radio, but you just don't know how God's going to plant that seed, and then you get to see change life, not just change life, generations and generations. Yeah, it really is, and so as you're listening to these I am always shocked that you don't know how many prisoners, right? Because they have a little AM radio that are sitting in there, and they don't have a lot of hope, right? A lot of them are in a really tough situation, and they're at that place of the valley of humiliation where the soil's pretty good. You know what I'm saying? And here comes this word from the Truth Network. You know, maybe it's a date the word, scripture, right? Because the word of God's pretty powerful stuff.
Pretty powerful.
And so how cool is that? So as you're praying for the Truth Network or you know, giving to one of our programs, which all require, you know, obviously some funding to keep them on the air and all that kind of thing. You know, these are things that you are all partnered with us. It's a Truth Network. So for many of you, you're going to miss the second part of this. So go get the podcast. We're going to be back with Persecution Project. Thank you, Dr. Shaw. Thank you, Dr. Date the Word. Coming up, John 3:16. Stay tuned. All right, so here comes the break.
Comes the break. They made sure we knew it.
Thank you. Yeah, we're good. We're done.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
I really, really.
Yes, sir.
I hating it, Stu, but
No, I just want talking to you. I talked to Steve so many times. It was great talking to you.
all right, we got
What do you got now?
the headlines and persecution guys. All right, Ed. Lion Lions.
Got two of us for the price of one.
I've never had it. This is like double trouble.
It's so nice to sit with you in person and not on the telephone.
Yes.
It's so true.
It is nice.
All right. This is our new film, Exodus.
That's right. We're going to see it tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Yeah, so is that what we're hopefully,
Yeah, let's push that.
and how are people going to see this?
NubaExodus.com. Down at the bottom, right below the
I see it,
QR
right.
code,
NubaExodus.com.
the film is on there.
Where's Brad these days?
He's back in the U.S. right now.
Is he
He's
really?
coming back from meetings. Just landed today. Hey, is this live?
Yes, it's live. In fact, it's going on live in your ear right now if you have to hear it. We got to find out about radon. How long ago were you guys there?
I was back there in March.
I think he was there in May.
Really?
We had drums, so we could get altitude and see the airspace. It's truly magnificent country. It's rugged.
The actual Nuba Mountains I've heard about for 20 years.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope Stu gets to go and see it. It looks like God just took a bunch of big massive boulders.
He did see it. I've not seen the pictures of when he was there.
He was there.
Oh, he didn't go to, he hasn't been to the Nuba Mountains.
So that's to the west. So there's no mountains. It's kind of interesting like that.
Kind of plain.
But a little bit, yeah, but a little bit east. So they call it the Nuba Hills. They're like, I don't know, Blue Ridge Mountains.
I did not know that.
But a lot of them are just big, massive boulders. So it's just, it's a kid's playground paradise.
Welcome back to True Talk Live. Today we are live from the convention floor of the National Religious Broadcasters Convention 2025. Just had an amazing time with Dr. Shaw and Dr. David Will Carson. And now, here in our booth, here on the convention floor, we have some old, dear friends. About many times this persecution project. And of course, God continues to do new, cool, amazing stuff through them, with them, as they continue to minister to those people in the Sudan. And I'm learning things even just like as I'm sitting here. For years, I heard about the Darfur. Never heard about the Darfur, the 6. Always the Darfur. I'm just kidding. The Darfur. But I did not realize it. Because they were saying, man, I hope someday Stu gets to see the Nuba Mountains. And I was like, of course he did. I got a picture. Like, have you ever seen Stu's stunt double? And he was, yeah, his brother-in-law was there wearing the exact same outfit. I most pictures he likes to say that's a stunt double. But nonetheless, the Nuba Mountains, he's never seen. You guys got to be there in May. We filmed a new movie. It's so exciting what's going on. We got Matt, we got Ed Lyon, my old friends. So Matt, what you got going?
Well, we are about to hear a film raise the heroism of the Christian communities, which is mostly found within the ethnic Nuba peoples of 50 tribes. They come from a place called Southern Nuba Hills Mountains. And they are the largest community Christians. They contain the largest community. So when you see a church in Sudan, 9 times out of 10 it's been planted by a Nuba Christian.
Really?
Exactly. So this is a story of how in the recent war in April 15th, we compared to you had 2 Islamist generals, military, fighting it out, trying to control the government. And in the middle of them was this Christian community living in the capital city of Khartoum, and of course getting hit by everything. So there was an attempt to escape that area back to the Nuba Mountains, which is a safe area. And we had 2 individuals living in Khartoum. One of them was a pastor by the name of Musa, which is Moses. And we had an assistant evangelist named Emmanuel. So Moses and Emmanuel decided they were going to sit out the conflict and just wait for someone to save them. And they were going to be the settlers. So but they reached out to us and helped them arrange buses and bring them organized even here. So we were able to assist them, and they organized thousands of people and basically to get out to save their communities. We saved us to save about 3,000 people. And so a year later, we went and we shot footage of them telling their story about what they did and why they got involved. And it's an inspirational story about what Christians can do when they decide, you know what, we're going to get active. We're not going to sit this one out. So, my community needs me. I'm going to be the one that stands in the gap. I'm going to be the one that organizes the buses. I'm going to be the one that got the roads to say. So that's what this documentary is about. And it's a beautiful shot in the mountains. People will see areas that most Westerners have never seen in pictures. We've got great footage of the area, beautiful times that's ever happened.
So we get to actually see the famous. You've heard about the Nuba Mountains. I know I've been hearing about the Nuba Mountains since maybe 2017. When did they really start coming after them? Really? Is that when I started hearing about it?
Yeah. The Nuba have been persecuted for decades because they are, first of all, they're African, they're Africans with racial pride and senior. And so they've always been targets of discrimination. But they also have a large Christian community. Islam is very new in the America. It's mainly after 1956. Muslim Brotherhood dominated government too. And has been dominating government ever since. And so the Nuba have become a sanctuary. Flee religious persecution. Just in the last 2 months, we've had a million flee from the conflict areas, making this geographically it's about the size of the state. And they carved out this and that's what people are going to.
That's amazing.
In 2011, they were targeted by the Islamic government and they resisted because, unlike many groups in Sudan, Nuba did not give up their guns. So there's a lesson there.
Yeah. So I'm looking at this. There you are. It's in North Africa, right? They're led by somebody named Moses.
Yeah.
How in the world did you come up with the title for this?
Well, yeah. It didn't take very long, did it?
Exodus, yeah. I'm so excited about this project, this film, because it highlights the passion Christians comes to, and the lengths that they're willing to go to save other Christians and to reach out to them to offer salvation to those who aren't Christians with the gospel message. This is a story about Musa, Moses, and Emmanuel. And last year I got to ride in the vehicle with Musa. And we were going to a pastor conference that had been set up and sponsored by the Persecution Project. And he's riding next to me. And when we get there, he's just so full of life. He's joyful. He's got life emanating from him. And he's helping us hand out all these audio copies to people. Just so excited. I'm so excited just that people have the opportunity to see this film. NubaExodus.com if they want to go see it. And just to be encouraged by the belief and faith of Christians there.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty easy to find. It's Nuba, which is N-U-B-A, Exodus.com of all things. So NubaExodus.com, and again, the title, Moshe, Moses, however you want to say it. And then we're going to get a chance here at the RV to have a special show, right? Tomorrow night in our suite. There's been so, as you may not know, Brad Phillips, very active the Persecution Project. And Stu's been great friends for many years. And Stu's on the board of Persecution Project. And so really an honor for all of us to have been praying for the Blue Mountains and sowing into the ministry in a lot of different ways.
Some of our greatest supporters that we've had for years come from your listening folks. They came through listening, hearing about this community. Never heard of it. And it's like, you know what? God works in mysterious ways. He doesn't give you information just because he wants to. Just because you need it. He gives you information because he expects you to do something. And if it's just to pray for people who don't get a lot of prayers from outside that community, because more people never talk to them. So you can just dedicate some time to pray for the persecuted church in this little area of the world. It's maybe where God wants you to live.
Kind of changed your life. You didn't ever. And it started.
One thing about us as an organization is that we stay in one area. We don't hop around to other crises around the world, like some very worthy and good organizations do to respond to crises that like hurricane and we've stayed in one community essentially for more than 25 years. And so once you do that, you develop relationships with people there. So it really is a family relationship. So brother calls you up and says, "Hey, I just got a flat tire on my 65. Can you really help me?" You don't say, "Well, my wife and I are going to pray about it, and then we'll get back." No, you immediately jump in the car and you go and you help. Right. So that's kind of our response, because we didn't go to an area and just decide, hey, we're going to send my people to do some good after. It's like we saw some people in Africa doing some good work, and buy into that love that is being already given to others. And it's true about Christians helping Christians, but they're also helping us. They find this that new people left the New Mountains years ago and went to a big city to do what a lot of people do in little towns. They go to big city to get jobs or have an education opportunity or something like that, and they stay there. And over those years, just isn't there. But now they're back in the New Mountains.
We got so much more coming your way from Persecution Project. Stay tuned. We're here live from the NRB. We'll be back with Ed and Matt. Stay on. We'll find out more about Exodus. NewBayExodus.com. There you go. One more second.
You got one more section?
One more. Yeah. You're doing wonderful.
You are too. Jumping in the hot seat. I could tell last night Stu's voice was going. You kind of expected this, I think.
Kind of. Over the last 3 weeks, he hasn't done the show one time. And he always liked to do it. Today's the day. I heard his voice last night too. It's cool. So obviously, again, we've been hearing about this hospital, orphanage, all these things for years and years, but this is a new deal, the Exodus.
Yeah, well, the other thing where the people go to watch the film is also a campaign, because there's 50,000 people still trapped.
Yes.
So the campaign is to get them out.
And
so
it
people
costs about $200 a person.
If they're inspired by the film, they can engage. They don't say, "Oh, this is a nice, what a great story." It's like, again, God doesn't give you information just for the heck of it. He gives it to you because he expects you to do something. So if the film moves you, there's a way for you to actively participate and get your church involved, and we're organizing buses whenever we can. So it's while the window's open, because the window can close anytime. And that's the problem, because it takes days to get there. It would only take a few hours if it was peacetime. Wartime, zigzagging, getting stopped, getting searched, That's why mostly women and children get out, because men who are on these buses present a risk.
Yeah, they pull them off.
They pull them off, shoot them, or impress them in the military service or whatever.
This isn't people around the hospital that you build, or are they?
Yeah,
Yeah,
some of
they
them are
live in the
coming back. Yeah, they're coming back.
So
Now, producing here, you got guys in the studio that are doing everything, so they're just piping you in. That's very organized.
yeah,
You guys have a good team.
yeah, they are wonderful. Wonderful. Nicholas doing a great job in the studio. And we got all sorts of stuff going on. Different markets.
So you're hot mic right now. So don't make any threats against other folks.
No, but I can't wait to do it.
So how did it work out with Rusty? Did he end up in your bunk bed, or
Is it-
Rusty?
No, he didn't. He got a room here.
That was good.
I thought that.
I wasn't
believe this when
relishing
I see
that,
it.
but I would have done it, but I wasn't.
Better than him bunking up with you and your wife.
Yeah, I said roomy, and I went roomy.
I'm glad he said something.
What? That's a different kind of roomy. See, I didn't know. Last night I took my wife to the emergency. She'd broken her arm. It would have been really bad.
Yeah.
She was in a lot of pain.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Let's go to the emergency.
Last night. You must be tired. Sorry.
Yeah, we got back about 1 a.m. I can imagine coming in on bus today. Scoot over, buddy. My wife.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll probably see Steve sometime. Well, and I can also tell you this: we have a suite up there.
Welcome back to True Talk Live. Today we are live from the National Religious Broadcasters Convention, referred to as NRD. 2025 this year. It is in Dallas, Texas. And so really, really cool to see some of the stuff that God is doing. I can just tell you, from sitting here today, I've interviewed amazing folks from Israel, amazing folks from Egypt, amazing Persia, like Iran. But now, I'm in North Africa, talking about Exodus with a guy named Moses. And NumaExodus.com, this movie that's going to be on tomorrow night, and those familiar with Persecution Project, we partnered with a big number for years and years, and good friends in so many ways. Seeing what God has done, from my standpoint, I remember we got to get water. We got to get water in the Darfur. And Stu's in there, he's digging wells and all sorts of stuff. The next thing I know, man, we're in the Numa Mountains and these people are fleeing. There's war. We gotta help these people there, We gotta build a hospital. We got all sorts of different things. And then there's another war, and then they're shooting people and they're fleeing and this, and now you're telling me in 2023 more shenanigans.
That's right. Well, Sudan has been independent from its colonial masters since 1956. And the Muslim Brotherhood, if you look up, it's a very interesting history. It's dominated the government since that time. So since that time, there's been very few years of peace. Wars all over the place. And there's a current war now between the military government, which is what the civilian government that was set up after the previous military dictatorship. So it just goes back and back and back. In the middle of this is a Christian community that's growing like weed. It's people are tired of the message that they've been hearing from the government and the military. They're tired of fighting, tired of the hate. And the church is reaching out to them with the gospel message of reconciliation and that's what people are finding their ability to come through the trauma that this is accumulated for generations on their families. So we're seeing tremendous growth in the church. We're seeing a lot of Muslims come to Christ through the testimony of indigenous churches, which hardly existed 100 years ago. And now the numbers in the mid among the new communities, the 20% would be as much as 60% which zero to that about 100 years ago. So see the gospel it is just a privilege for us to be a part of this story in what little way we can. So we try to communicate the grieving message of this community to the message of we hear that people will appreciate it, and they also see how we truly are one family, united in Christ. And there's ways that we can intercede for one another, and not just prayer, but in action. What we call at Church of Peace Project active compassion. So you can go to this newexodus.com. You can watch the film. The film is tied to a campaign because right now we have 50,000 people trapped in the cartoon area that need activists. So this covers a time period of 2023. So now there's still thousands of people, mostly Christians, from the new community still trapped. So there's opportunities for us, there's windows open for us to get some of them out. And if people want to join with Moses and they want to join with Emmanuel in continuing to help their community, they can do so. But in the meantime, watch the film and realize just what important it is to be a part of this family.
You got Moses, but they call him Musa.
Yeah.
You got Musa and Emmanuel. But they need buses, right? They need fuel, prayer fuel. They need all those kind of things. And so by going to Exodus.com, not only get to see the movie, and see these things in action, but God there can access your heart and see what you can take part of, being that fuel for that bus.
You can buy a ticket. You can buy a bus ticket. And that's what people did. That's how the initial 3,000 got it. They didn't have the money because all the banks were destroyed or shut down. So we had to get them the resources. And it was us picking up the phone and calling our partners, many of them Truth Talk listeners, who we didn't send out a mail campaign or anything because it was secret. Very secret. So we just called people on the phone, word of mouth, and the word got out and we raised the money in a very short period of time. But of course, the money would have done nothing if we didn't have Moses on the ground.
Right.
And Emmanuel. And they organized, they went house to house in the middle of worship, house to house, letting people know you want to get on the bus. The bus is here, you need it at this particular time at this location. Get you out.
I was so encouraged by their courage. I was encouraged by their courage. Emmanuel, I'm not going to give this away. He tells his personal testimony in the meeting. But he knew his witness. He had already left Cartoon, and Musa got in touch with him, and Emmanuel responded, "What do you want me to do?" And so Musa said, "Go back in and tell these Christians where to catch the bus." So he did. And then he eventually had to get on the bus himself. He got stopped at the checkpoints and taken off, and they were frisking him, and a miracle happened. So I'm just going to leave it like that.
It's in the movie.
Yeah, it's in the movie.
So
It's in the movie. So
And it's a movie, like, I know we get to see it tomorrow night, but if somebody goes to NubaExodus.com right now,
They can watch
they're
it.
going to see the Moshe shakedown.
Yeah, Emmanuel shakedown.
Oh, the Emmanuel
No, and he
shakedown.
and he realizes, he said, yeah, I really understood the significance of my name after this little event that took place because he shouldn't have been dead when he wasn't. But yeah, it was like one of these movies where he's the last man out, the leader, right? So, and that's what they did. These guys literally got on the last bus. So now they want to go back in, make themselves count, and there are people inside of them. John 3:16, so we have an opportunity to get them out.
It cost them $200 per person.
Right.
And what is that? I mean,
That's what it costs to get people bus charter.
where's the partners? Like, you're going to go into a war zone and you're going to go pull out.
It's amazing what the free market does. There's always somebody who can do the job. It is a miracle, but when you find them, and
There's a window.
there's a security window that opens and closes. So when it opens, you got to run, and if it closes, you got to wait. So
I'll
it
bet.
opens again.
I'll bet, finding that driver. Like,
And it'll not guarantee this. It's a 7-day journey. It's properly. We've had recent reports on one more company's got it. We got a group out, and they gave us testimony that their process was bombed by a drone.
It wasn't a response.
It wasn't the one that we used, it was another one that was in their convoy, and it was actually hit by a drone. So there's some, it's very, very dangerous. Some things people are afraid of the safety of the person trying to get out again. Those are really children because men are afraid to go to these vessels because if you stop, a lot of them get pulled off and shot, forcing them to being a spy or whatever it is. So they typically load these vessels with women and children and hold them. So those are the people that we're trying to help.
This journey used to take 5 to 6 hours. It takes up to a week.
let's see.
The security always stops and having to wait until the window opens. The window opens and there's military checkpoints from both sides of the conflict that you have to go through in order to get to the new home. And that's a very, very difficult process.
What a beautiful thing. What a beautiful thing if you think about God orchestrating all those people. He orchestrated, obviously, Brad Phillips' heart.
Yeah.
You guys are.
Yeah, we're talking about it here.
Moses' heart, right? And now you listening. He is motivating us to go to NubaExodus.com, right? And see for yourself, what God is really doing and what part you might have in that, both if you're praying for the victims, praying for the people, praying for the charter driver, for goodness sakes. I mean, that guy had the courage to say, I'm going to go help these people. And knowing that a drone took out one of your buddies, it's harrowing, and this stuff's going on like right now.
And people have an opportunity to engage in this, and that's the important thing. Is that, you watch these movies like Schindler's List and see how one person can make a difference in the lives of others. And we're going to sometimes presented these opportunities to get involved in things that most people aren't aware of what's going on. And this is one of those opportunities. As a community that you tell you're hearing about it, you can do something. Everyone can do something, even if it's just prayer. Meaning, that's the most important thing, even if you pray. Prayer is the thing that keeps. How do you think all this came together? It's God answering prayers of people asking, praying for deliverance from these fiery cities that are with forces. People praying and asking for deliverance. All of a sudden, they get a knock on the door. This guy named Emmanuel says, "Hey, I got a bus."
Another neat thing about this movie is get to see the heart of people. Not just Musa and Emmanuel, but we interviewed a whole bunch of people who were rescued during the evacuation. And you get to see Musa's joyful nature, and it's just fun-loving, it's great.
You don't want to miss it, really. It's so easy. Just go to Nuba, N-U-B-A, Exodus.com. NubaExodus.com. Check it out. God's doing amazing things. We're going to be live from the NRB tomorrow as well. We're so grateful for you taking part of this, and we want to see you here tomorrow.
No, I'm just sharing my friend's.
You guys were awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was very good.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm trying to.
Excellent.
yes.
Yeah.
Motion.